Hey guys, I'm Roger Gaming, and I'm your coach for the Las Vegas Corviknights. We are here for our Week 1 matchup. Let's get into it. These are the Pokemon I do not anticipate my opponent bringing. Bronzong, I think it could be good, but we have a Victini. It definitely doesn't want to take a V-Create, even with its heat-proof ability. Superior, again, we have a V-Create Victini that definitely it does not want to touch. Deoxys Defense, I'm not too familiar with this Pokemon, but from all I can see, I don't really see it being too good against my team. Swellow, it could come for like Tailwind support potentially, but Dracovish absolutely destroys it. Scolipede, again, Victini does a great number on it, and Ghastly is its like worst pick, and it's kind of like a joke pick, so I don't anticipate him bringing it. Alright, so these are the Pokemon I do anticipate. His Mega Deontay can be very good, especially with its Diamond Store move, and it can just hit fairly hard. It's pretty slow though, so we should be able to like one-shot it with Dracovish, and Mega Mawile, if we get set up, we should be able to take a hit and kill it fairly easy. Dracovish, or not Dracovish, Dragonpult is very good, but Dracovish outspeeds it in sand, and we do a tremendous amount of damage to it, as well as being able to pretty much check it with our Mega Mawile. It does get Flamethrower, which can be problematic, but we have Sucker Punch on Mega Mawile, so we'll be able to pretty much one-shot it with that, assuming he doesn't predict and stuff. And Fernape is a fairly decent mon, being firefighting type. It's good for Mawile, but we can beat it with a Play Rough, and Mawile does very well this week. It's pretty much going to be there for my Amoonguss and some other threats. Rotom Wash is a good pivot for Dracovish, being able to use its electric moves on it. It also gets access to Will-O-Wisp. I'm not sure if he'll bring that, but if he does, that can be something we need to watch out for. His next mon is, I think he's going to bring his Crocodile. That can be very good for our electric type, as we can stop that. It could be very good for checking my Victini, as you can be Intimidate and lower our attack, as well as checking our Dracovish, sort of, by lowering our attack. And Avalugg, I think he'll probably bring for Dracovish, just to really be a threat. Maybe hit us with an Ice move, and potentially could bring it in case he's worried about webs. It can also be a check to my Hippowdon, being able to, or not webs, but rocks and webs. He can get rid of any webs I throw or rocks with its rapid spin, and then it could also deal with Hippowdon, being able to hit it with ice type super effective moves. Alright, let's get into the Pokemon I did not bring. Savali, I didn't think it had a great matchup this week. It's kind of hard to pick a type for it to be, and normal, I think it suffers from not being able to have an item unless it's normal. Mandibuzz I didn't think was great. It helped with Crocodile, but against his, I was pretty sure he was going to bring his fighting type, so I didn't want to stand for that. I didn't think webs were super necessary to bring Galvantula. Cobalion was okay, but I thought some of the other Pokemon I brought did better. Vanillix I could have brought for Dragonpult, but I think I had that covered with Mawile and Dracovish. And Yama I just don't anticipate bringing throughout much of the league. Alright, so let's get into the first Pokemon I did bring, Mega Mawile. So its first ability is going to be Intimidate, and as it Mega Evolves, its ability switches to Huge Power, which doubles its attack power, making it an absolute monster. I gave it a little speed this week to be able to outspeed things like Avalugg. Swords Dance, Player, Sucker Punch, Knockoff. This is an amazing, pretty standard set. Swords Dance, if I get +2 or higher, I can pretty much set up on the Avalugg. He doesn't do too much to me, and I can set up a Swords Dance and then hit it with a Play Rough and do a ton of damage. Sucker Punch is there for his Dragonpult, and Knockoff just does great damage to pretty much anything. Nothing really wants to take the combination between Play Rough and Knockoff. I believe I one-shot with Play Rough his Mega Deontay, which is really good. And yeah, let's get into our next mon. Slowbro is going to be our main defensive wall this week, with leftovers rocking the regenerator ability, which allows us to, when we switch out, we gain 1/3 of our max health back. This is going to be very defensive. We have Trick Room there for Mega MAWILE. Trick Room teleport can be very good. I can set up Trick Room, which my opponent might not expect, trying to outspeed it. The majority of things do outspeed Mega MAWILE, so under Trick Room, I would outspeed them and be able to hit them incredibly hard. And Play Rough just does really crazy damage to all of his team. So being able to teleport Trick Room could be really good. And yeah, let's get into the next mon. Among Us is going to be really good for... It's going to be our main special wall this week, rocking its Assault Vest with the Regenerator. So we can do incredible damage to some of his mons. Clear Smog is there in case anything wants to set up. Drain is there for Crocodile. Foul Play is there exclusively pretty much for his Dragon Pult. If he wants to set up, say he's Dragon Dance set, he can set up in front of me. And then I one-shot him with a Foul Play, because Foul Play doesn't use my attack, it uses my opponent's. So it's really cool tech, and Body Slam, and maybe to get some paralysis, and just kind of hit the team a little neutral. Alright, let's get into the next mon. We have Hippowdon rocking his Smooth Rock to set up the sand for Dracovish. Earthquake does great just coverage for my opponent, being able to hit things like his Infernape. Slack off theirs for some recovery. Stealth Rock's good, and in case anything's set up in front of us, I was a little worried about setup this week, so I have Whirlwind, which switches them into random ally. So that's good. This is also going to be very defensive. His team is fairly good on the defensive side, so I thought Among Us was good on the special to cover any special threats. And yeah, leading into our Dracovish, which is Choice Band with Sand Rush. So Sand Rush allows us to pretty much outspeed his entire team, as our speed is doubled in the sand. Vicious Wren is an incredible move, completely broken, and hits super hard. Dragon Rush I have exclusively for Dracovish, or not Dracovish, I have on Dracovish for his Dragon Pult. Leech Life does good to give us a little bit of recovery against some of his threats. I believe it's mostly there for Crocodile. And Crunch is just another great move for stab. Or not stab, but coverage. We are adamant to hit as hard as possible, and we have max speed to be able to try to outspeed as much as possible. And we should outspeed his entire team, being adamant as well. So this thing's going to hit incredibly hard, and I anticipate it to do some decent work this week. Alright, and our final mon is going to be Victini. We have Choice Scarf. I want to make sure we weren't 100% reliant on sand for our speed. So we have a Choice Scarf user with V-Create. V-Create is one of the hardest hitting moves, and it just does incredible damage. I believe it's base 180 on top of being stab, and so we get a 1.5 boost on top of that. And adamant, so we're going to hit as hard as possible in case there's something like Crocodile we want to switch out on. We have U-Turn, which hits it super effectively. Bolt Strike for any water types, and Zen Headbutt does really well against his Infernape. I believe we like one-shot it, one or two-shot it, which is insane with this build. So I really anticipate Victini putting in some work this week. And yeah, let's get into the battle. Alright, so my opponent brought a team I was pretty much anticipating. He leads Rotom Wash. I'm going to lead my Slowbro. So I'm going to switch out here in case he wants to go for the Thunder or whatever, Thunderbolt or Volt Switch into my Among Us. We can take pretty much any hit. He goes just for the Volt Switch, which is fine. He may go out into his Infernape here, which is what he does. I have an easy switch into my Hippowdon to set the sand on this thing, and I can hit it pretty hard with an Earthquake, if that's the route he wants to go for. And he goes for the Flare Bits. That does decent damage, but he also gets damage from recoil, which is good. We can set rocks if we want here, or we can slack off. I anticipate him. He could stay in if he really wants to, but he switches out into his Rotom Wash, which is fine, to hit us with a potential water move. I'm going to switch out into my Dracovish to make use of the sand. I'm going to hit him really hard with a Vicious Wren. Nothing on his team really wants to take it. And I can take any hit he wants to go for. I do over half, which is great to him now. So he's... Unfortunately, he does have Will-O-Wisp, which absolutely cripples my Dracovish. If you're not aware, burn, when your Will-O-Wisp gives your target a burn, and burn makes it, if they are a physical hitter, which Dracovish is, that all their attacks do half damage. So I'm not going to do nearly as much damage as I want. He also has a berry, which is really not great, because that gives him about 20% back of his health back. Thanks. And he's going to go into his Avalugg. I can switch here, or I can just hit him with a Vicious Wren. I should still be doing decent damage, but Avalugg's pretty good against us, so I'm going to probably switch out into MAWILE. MAWILE or Victini could be good. Victini is probably a better play. So I'm going to have an easy V-Create here. He goes for the Avalugg. I take that no problem and can go for the V-Create. Nothing on his team appreciates a V-Create, as it hits super hard. He could probably, his best mon to do is to go into is probably Crocodile, which he does go into, which lowers our attack, so we won't hit won't hit nearly as hard, but we still do over 66%. So with a V-Create, I can switch out here into pretty much anything. Slowbro is probably a decent play. He probably is going for the knockoff though, so we are going to take quite a bit of damage. Yeah, he does go for the knockoff, which is unfortunate. But now his Crocodile is not nearly as good against our Slowbro. So I'm not sure what other... He might have Foul Play or something like that. So I'm going to switch out into my Amoonguss. If he goes for another knockoff, that's going to be a little unfortunate. He does end up going for the knockoff, which sucks. But at least I keep my Slowbro fairly healthy. And the sand is gone, which helps me, because he no longer gets a special defense boost. He goes into his Avalugg, which is fine. I can switch out on the following turn and go into my MAWILE. So I do that. MAWILE can pretty much set up on this thing fairly easy. So I'm going to just go for the Sword Stance. He may anticipate me to hit him. So Sword Stance, this is really scary for my opponent, because nothing really wants to take this. He goes for the Recover, anticipating me to hit, so I'm in a really good spot, and I can easily just go for another Sword Stance. I'm going to hit him, see how much I do. I do pretty good damage to him, well over half. So his body press doesn't do nearly as much as I thought it would. So I can go for another Sword Stance here, and pretty much be able to sweep the rest of his team with with Sucker Punch. So I am +4 now. That does nothing. So I can easily hit him with a Play Rough. Anything that wants to switch in is going to die here. So Play Rough. So his best bet is probably to sack this and just take the loss here for his Avalugg. So that's one mon down. We're looking in a tremendous spot right now. Crocodile, we can easily Sucker Punch this thing since it's going to be faster, and we should easily kill it. So that's another mon down. And MAWILE is an absolute beast. I think he is probably a better play for him to have made there was to switch into something else, because I wouldn't have been able to hit him. I'm gonna go for the Sucker Punch, but he's not. It's not gonna work because he has a move that's non-attacking, which Sucker Punch doesn't hit. So he's able to burn me, which really is crippling. But I should still be able to hit fairly hard. So I'm gonna go for a Sucker Punch here, in case he wants to hit me. I'm able to get a critical hit, which ignores the burn. So that's absolutely incredible, as I am able to kill his Rotom because of it. I think I would have done a fair bit of damage, but I definitely would not have killed with other crits. So that was really big. He may go into... I don't think he wants to go his Dragon Pult here. He goes into his Diancie. So I can go for a Play Rough here and kill it. I don't believe it should be able to kill me. Wow, it does a lot more damage than I was expecting. I should still be able to kill, but I will definitely die to burn. So MAWILE definitely put in a lot of work, being able to kill 4 of his 6 mons. So probably my next bet is to go into my Victini here. Victini should be able to do a fair bit to his anything he wants to go for. I can go for a V-Create if he goes for his Dragon Pulse. It goes for his Infernape, so I can go for the Zen Headbutt here and do, I believe, I should be able to kill it. So Victini should be able to get this kill on Infernape. If he wants to switch into his Dragon Pulse, he just stays in. So I'm able to kill Victini. Victini is able to kill with a Zen Headbutt. And I think my best play is probably to just stay in here. Worst case scenario, if he is scarfed and outspeeds, I just hit him for 50 for Zen Headbutt. And I unbelievably get the flinch, so that's, I believe, a 10% chance. So that seals the game. He can't do any move, and I'm able to kill his Dragon Pulse with a Zen Headbutt. So we are able to win 5-0, which is a great start to the season. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.